is only war.
What is up, gents? World Top 40k player and a Recon Marine Keevil, bringing you some 40k Dirtbag content. If you guys are new to the channel, appreciate you clicking on the video. This is going to be the first of two-part series of the 11th edition games that we just played. We just did a stream, me and Keevil live on the channel, if you guys want to check that out. I tested Chaos Space Marines, Chaos Cold, which is still really freaking good, versus his Iron Hands list that he's bringing to Atlantic City Open, which is a teams tournament we have coming up this weekend. It's going to be super fun. So we'll bring content to you there, but it's probably not going to be 10th edition content. We're going to be bringing content just on the team aspect and playing team games moving forward. This is going to be our first 40k team event. So super excited about that. But if you guys are new to the channel, we were #1 Green Knight player in the world 3 years ago, #1 Chaos Space Marine player in the world 2 years ago, #1 Death Guard player in the world last year, and #1 Ork player right now in America. So we kind of know that if we run the core rules, we can really play any army out there. And that's what we're going to be bringing into the channel going into 11th edition. And that's where the coaching comes into play as well. We do a lot of coaching over the Dirtbag Nation with core rules, mastering your army, knowing the mission, stuff like that, not knowing every single army out there. Because me, for example, I don't know three-quarters of the armies out there. I don't even know half the units' names out there. So I'm a prime example of learning the core rules and performing at the top level in this game. And that's what the Dirtbag Nation coaching is all about. So if you're interested in that, getting a coach in your corner going into 11th edition, check out the Patreon. We got a lot of stuff up there as well. So quick shout out to the sponsors, and then we'll get into my first game of 11th edition with the new core rules with me and Keevil. All right, guys, thanks for clicking on the video. If you guys want to support the channel, stay tuned towards the end of the video where we'll go over all of this stuff, as well as any links in the description below for laser lines, shirts, and gear is in all the description. So stay tuned towards the end and enjoy the video. All right, and if you guys want to check out the merch, this is probably one of the best ways to support us. It's over in the description below. We actually have a new website. I think Keevil put it in the description down below. Check out the website. It's got everything in one place down below. But yeah, these designs, I freaking sick on shirts. So check those guys out. All right, so my first game of 11th edition, it's funny. Oh, God, it took me a little bit to figure it out, but I figured it out. Check this out. Ready? Fuck. Wrong thing. Hit the wrong button. All right, over here. Ready? Watch this. Boom. We got scrolling. We got this thing, presentation thing. I'm so proud of myself of this. So if you guys are new to the channel or vets, I was just kind of like scrolling through everything, big black blob in front of the things just so you guys can't see it. Now I got click to text. So first one, my first game of 40k, core rules. We're going to be going over another video of specifically what you want to be learning before 11th edition or right at the beginning of 11th edition. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be up on Patreon and members before it hits YouTube. But yeah, so the core rules essentially played the same way in 10th edition as 11th edition. So almost everything the way you play is essentially the same. You're just tweaking a couple of the stratagems and terrain and stuff like that. If you know the core rules of 10th edition, it's going to be a very easy transition to go into 11th edition. Just kind of like forgetting about some of the different -1 AP when you're in cover. So like small stuff like that is going to be easy to change going into 11th edition. So the core rules essentially is the same. You're basically just playing the same game. You just have to know small details with some of the keywords, because keywords were brand new in 10th edition. Like they were really focusing on keywords, so that made an easy transition going into 11th edition. Is if you know how to look for keywords, then you can play 11th edition pretty easily. So the biggest changes we'll go over, but it's 10th edition just with tweaks. That's what I would say is the core rules. You want to read them top to bottom. Just read the core rules top to bottom, see the differences, write down the differences, so that way you know what to look forward to when you play the first game. This is just the thumbnail if you guys want to check out the game. It was a long game. We spent a lot of hours playing the game, but we went over a lot of key details in that game. So it's a really good game to watch. Next, terrain cover. It's huge. It is a huge difference from 10th edition to 11th edition. So when you guys are making your lists, you're going to be wanting to figure out what's going to be ignoring cover, what's going to get cover, like infantry, beasts, and swarms, and making a list built around the terrain, because the terrain in 11th edition is way different map-wise. Like in 10th edition, you had layout 1, layout 6, layout 2, layout 4, layout 8, layout 7, all those layouts. These layouts are overhauled, completely different, and they're ginormous footprints. So that is one of the biggest things difference from 11th or 10th to 11th edition, is just the terrain, cover, all that stuff. Towering in and talking out loud. So a lot of the terrain are on rectangles and long rectangles, and the footprint's going to be a little bit higher than the table. A lot of them is going to be PDF or MDF or whatever the hell they're called, plastics. So that way your model might not be able to sit 100% on that terrain. Like you have to tip it up, so it means your model's slanted, which is never a cool sight on the table. So when you guys are towering in or touching the terrain, make sure you're saying that out loud. These are just some small tidbits going into the competitive scene of 11th edition, is you're going to want to make sure that you and your opponent agree and know that, yes, I'm touching this terrain, or no, I'm not touching this terrain. Because if you butt up right against the terrain, you have to tell your opponent, yes, I'm touching the terrain, or no, I'm not touching the terrain. Because you're going to be super confused. It happened in the game with Keevil live, was I had two blue horrors technically touching the terrain. So to me, they were touching the terrain, but to him, they weren't slanted on the terrain. And in 10th edition, if you were just touching the terrain or the objective marker, you're touching it because you're physically right up against it. So you have to make sure that you and your opponent know that these guys are touching it. I have 5 units touching it, or 5 models touching it for an OC of 10. So that way you and your opponent know that was predetermined. If we're going into like bottom of my turn, I'm like, all right, I score that now because I assume that those two are not in the terrain. I'm trying to get 5 points, and then your opponent goes like, no, they're touching the terrain. You don't get 5 points. That's going to come up a lot. So make sure you guys are saying stuff out loud and getting used to it and practicing it. So that way when that does come up, it's not going to be an argument. Right, so that's one of the first things I realized. Still being able to hide, and 15-inch loan op was awesome. So you're still going to be able to hide behind the terrain features. There's a lot of little caddy corners on the maps that you can like put your models in, not touching the terrain feature, and be able to launch out as staging points. There's a lot of staging points. There's still angles. There's a lot of angles, X's all over the map, but there also is a lot of hiding places on the map as well. So the 15-inch loan op is what you're going to be practicing and going into, and setting it up and predetermining when you're deploying. When you're moving up your distances, you're like, all right, what's the max distance of that tank? 10 inches? Can you advance and shoot? No. Great. 10 inches plus 15 is what, 27 inches? Sorry, 25 inches. So my guys are 25.1 inches away of that tank. Do you agree? Yes, great. You can't shoot me turn 1 as long as all my models are in there from that specific tank. Other models, if you don't ask, can obviously shoot, but this is all pre-measuring. This is all making sure that you both agree before as you're moving. So if you have a lot of, if you have turn 1, you basically are able to set up and stage pretty aggressively. So that way on turn 2, you can either move forward on a descendant terrain piece or kind of advance up and charge like orcs or something like that. So 15-inch loan op did come into play a lot. And then later in the game, when you have your guys on your expansion objective, your top left objective, them in the cover that don't really shoot like cultists, they're literally loan op the entire game. So you don't really have to fear tanks across the table shooting them ever, because they're never going to be within 15 inches. So my game plan in this setup was basically take over one side of the table and kind of swing across. So I had my expansion objective, I had my guys scout into that expansion objective, stay outside of shooting range, and then on my turn 2, I kind of launched out of that, took over his left side tanks, killed those tanks, and then moved over to the right. So that way the tanks on the right side of the table couldn't ever shoot my cultists in that expansion objective. So that expansion objective was getting me primary the whole game. So again, definitely a huge change. Don't have to worry about getting shot with 15-inch loan op. And you can pre-measure everything. So to make sure you're asking more questions, do you have any detection? Do you have any ways to advance and shoot? Can you get to me turn 1 if I put my guys here? Stuff like that. So that was definitely a huge change. Let's go over the next one. So much death. we had a lot of shit die. Not only just in melee, because melee is gonna die, but in the shooting, like AP1 weapons now actually matter. Like they actually kill stuff now. Even Marines, like Marines making 4-up saves is 50-50 now compared to 66% of the time. So I guess it's not 50-50, it's 4-up. So you're gonna die on a 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's 50%. Yeah, so 50% of the time they're gonna die now instead of having a 66% chance of living with Marine bodies. So AP1 actually works a lot now in shooting. So any of like bolters you have are AP1, or regular shots, random shots, flamers, or flamers ignore cover. But like all that stuff is gonna be actually key in 11th edition. Shoot everything. Don't skip out and, oh, he's got a 2-up save anymore. No, just shoot it. Because now 2-up saves go to 3-up saves. Terminator killers, right? AP2 are Terminator killing weapons now because cover is different. So a lot of shit is going to die. Terminators are not unkillable anymore unless they have armor contempt and all this bullshit. But killing Terminators without armor contempt is going to be a lot easier. Fast rolling going into that is kind of nuts. So we were working on precision and stuff like that in the game, where precision with fast rolling, you can put, let's say I go in with a character into their character. I can spend 1 CP, give my guy precision, and then I'm going to choose his character to be the first group of fast dice rolling. So let's say my character wounds you 5 times. I'm going to pick your character as the first dice roll. So then you roll 5 dice, and then all the 1s and 2s, let's say you roll a 1, 1, 3, 4, 5. The 1, 2, and 3 go first as the pulls. The first one goes with the 1, then the 2, and then the 3, and then the 4 and 5 are last. Before, you would slow roll 1 at a time, and if you, let's say you rolled a 4+, then a 5+, you're like, all right, I'm not going to kill a character anymore. Let me put this on the squad, right? Because each dice was separate. Now, they have to roll all of their dice at once, and all the lowest go first, no matter what. So then that character dies. If I'm hitting him with 2 damage weapons, he just took 6 damage to the face, he dies. And then the other 2 Terminators live because they rolled a 4 and a 5. But still, precision is insane. Like, fast dice rolling with precision is freaking nuts in 11th edition. So that was another thing we saw very differently. Hide your characters if you don't want them to die. Makari is going to be the first one dead in a lot of Ork lists, because most of the time Makari is hanging right next to Gaz because he doesn't care. He's like, fuck it, I'll just tank all the 2-up saves in the world. Now you're going to roll 20 dice, and you're going to get 3 1s, and the first one is going to go on Makari, and then the rest of them are going to go on like other... It's going to be insane, guys. So precision, fast dice rolling, nuts. Next, we got learning new core strats. Verbiage is important. Precision, we just talked about. Tank shock, heroic, CP manage, all this stuff. So learning the core rules is going to be so important getting into 11th edition. Before you even play 11th edition game, read the core rules. We're going to go over a whole video on this next. But core rules is going to be so important to read top to bottom the entire thing and pick out the main differences that you guys are seeing from 10th edition to 11th edition. So verbiage, when it comes to charging, for example, like charging, you don't have to go base to base anymore. That verbiage is huge. Not being able to tie yourself up with the charge, you can basically charge in, stay 1 inch away, and then pile in 3 inches to get even more distance. And then let's say another unit charges that unit, kills that unit. You then have a second pile in to another unit to then kill them and then consolidate. Like, there's so much movement in the fight phase now. If you're really good at the fight phase in 10th edition, you're going to be insane in the fight phase in 11th edition. So verbiage, that's what I really look into with core rules. It's like, how can I break this? How can I make sure that I'm playing it 100% correctly? It's legal, but how can I basically exploit it because the verbiage is written this way? And that's one of the things is with charging, you don't have to go base to base anymore. There's no such thing as base to base. It says end closer to the closest enemy units. That's it. So if I start 1 inch away from you, I can then move 3 inches and add 0.9 inches away from you. And that's a legal move. So I moved sideways. It's not model by model anymore. It's unit. So I basically moving sideways to end closer to that unit and still not being base to base. So there's a lot of different ways that are going to be changing based off of the verbiage, and that's coming down to the core rules. Precision, Tank shock is different now, so tank shock monsters can tank shock. That's pretty cool. And then if you roll a 1 on the tank shock, you take mortal wounds. So no more 1 wound truck going into like a target just to try and tank shock them. On a 1, that tank is also going to take mortal wounds and then die. So there are caveats to like you making that impact attack and taking some mortals at the same time. So that's pretty cool. I like that. I like that fairness. Heroic, huge difference. We actually did a whole, I don't even know if I spelled heroic right. We did a whole video on Heroic Intervention. Go check that out. But Heroic Intervention is going to be the best stratagem in the entire 11th edition right now. Because if you can heroic without a charge, like they basically just moved up within 6 inches of you, you can spend 2 CP and heroic them. Yeah, if this is the first time you're hearing that, yes, that can happen in 11th edition. The other chance is like if they charge in and they're within 12 inches of you, and you need a last desperate escape to heroic to make the win. You can then roll that 9. If they're 9 inches away from you, you can roll that 9, get that 9, charge in, kill them, out OC the objective, and win the game that way. That's going to be a thing as well. We're getting into the final game world moment. GT, the guy's freaking charging. He's 10 inches away from my heroic unit now. It used to be 6, now it's 12. So I'm like, hey, I got nothing else to lose. Let me spend a CP. Oh my god, he banged out a 10-inch counter charge. Fucking charge in. You get fight first as well because you charged in. Charging in, and then you're just, oh my god, it's going to be insane. It's going to be like cheers and cries all over the place with this new heroic strat. And then CP management is going to be huge. So knowing what strats you're really saving them for, like the heroic, if you need 2 CP for the heroic, and let's say on turn 1 you have a free CP strat, you can technically heroic on turn 1. Let's say this happened in the game. I have my warp talons, right? They're right on the line. I have a lord with the warp talons for nightmare hunt. I can do a free strat. So even though I have 1 CP to my name, if he moves up within 6 inches to try and move block me, I can fucking spend a free strat, spend 2 CP to heroic him on turn 1, and still be able to like murder them and then move up and go do something. So that came up. So knowing CP management and knowing your CP management is going to be huge in 11th edition with all the new changes. All right, next is the fight phase. This is kind of what we were going over already. Let me just move my face for you. Okay, so the fight phase, it's just me just laughing at myself. So many ways to get good at this. If you were a master in 11th edition, you're godly now. Knowing who fights when, fights first is going to be huge. So starting at the top, if you were good at piloting and consolidating and trying to like double charge and slingshot and all that stuff, that's still here in 11th edition. That's one of the things we realized was like you can basically charge a unit with 2 units. That 1 unit over here can finish off that unit. You can then, or you both all pile in. So you pile in around that unit. The 1 unit kills that unit. That unit that you charged in can also make another pile in move if they're not in engagement range anymore. And then you can fight and then consolidate even after that. So there's so much movement that you can have in just 1 charge phase. So you can definitely steal objectives with that pile in and consolidate and stuff like that. So slingshot's still there. It's a lot harder. Now, I don't know if I mentioned the 9-inch roll is fucking dumb. I do not like that at all. It's limited to how you can actually play your army. So if you have a 20-man unit of boys and I wanted them to spread out like in Green Tide in the lore and they're just fucking, super far at spreading out, they should be able to do that. But Games Workshop's like, no, you have to keep everybody within 9 inches of your entire fucking unit. So that's probably one of the dumbest rules I hate of 11th edition. But it's a thing now. You have to get used to it. So knowing that you can't slingshot like 20 inches away anymore, but you can still slingshot like 9 inches away, pile in 3, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then 30 for 15 inches, you can still attack something as long as your whole unit's moving that way. So then knowing who fights first. So if you have a fight first, if you're going into a fight first unit, they have fight first, but you don't have to be fearful of them anymore because you get the pick for the fight first. So your unit charges, you have fight first, they have fight first, but the attacking player gets to pick the first fight first charge. So you charge in, you kill the fight first unit, now you don't have to worry about it anymore, and then all your other charges go, and then your opponent gets to go. If your opponent had fight first, you charge in with 1 unit, you fight first, and then they get to use their fight first to fight first, and then next fight goes with the charging targets, and then it goes into the second player to charge. Before, it was just like your defender gets to pick the first attacking unit if there's no fight first units on the table. So knowing who has fight first, and don't be super scared of it anymore. If line, you have the line on the table, you're just like, fuck you, line. I'm just going to charge into you and fight you before you get to hit me. I think the Space Marine character might just be null and void now. I don't know if he does super a lot into the game anymore. I mean, he's still a fight first unit, but he's not like, oh shit, I'm just going to ignore him. Because like going into Blade Guard with all the fight first used to be scary. Now it's like, I don't care. Make your 3-up saves, whatever. So that's definitely a difference that we noticed. And then Pawn Consolidate 6 is, if you have that in your army, use it. It's going to be so insane to see somebody just go 24 inches across the table with one charge. So let's say I'm 6 inches away. Let's just do some math. I'm 6 inches away. I charge in 6. I then get to pile in 6. So that's 12. I'm going to pile in kind of like all the way around the fight, right? I have another unit, charge that unit just so that they can kill it. So that's 6, 12. You then get to pile in again if that unit dies. So 12 plus 6, you're at 18-inch movement right now. Okay? That's if you rolled a 6. 18-inch movement. Now you get to kill that unit before you get to consolidate, or attack that unit, and then you get to consolidate before they do anything, right? So you charge, pile in, kill, consolidate. What was that, 24 inches right there? That's, use it. If you have it, get it, put it in your list, and test it out. It's dumb. I used it with the Chaos Space Marine Jump Back Lord. He has pile and consolidate 6 inches, so the Warp Talons were just yeet all across the table. That was fun. So that is definitely insane in the fight phase. I think World Eaters are just cremating right now in their pants with this new rule. So points might be more even now when it comes to secondaries and primary and stuff like that. I feel like they really tried to make it even when they were making the rules. Because when me and Keevil were playing it, you're making your list an army based off the primary that you're picking. So it's honed in on that primary. Like a lot of the primary missions we played before, like Terraform, Purge. I fucking hated Purge. My list was not built for Purge. So every time I played Purged, I feared it because my list isn't made for it. 5 unit of custodians could just murder my list, or knights could just murder my list. So you're going to feel a lot more confident playing the games because your list is built around the primary that you guys are picking. So the points are going to be a lot smaller in gap when it comes to 11th edition. Hopefully, that's my guess now. And secondaries, you're going to be able to get a lot more secondaries because you can keep the cards. No more getting scammed out in turn 1 with secondaries. Like, you're still going to be able to get a lot of points going into round 2, round 3, round 4. You can have a card that you picked up on the first round and score it in round 4 instead of having to keep it and lose that option to get another secondary card. So I think secondary missions are going to keep the game really close, and the primary, it's going to be even closer now if you're not going into like a horde list that's going to deny your primary all game. That's going to happen, but I think the points are going to be a lot closer in 11th edition. So primary seems even, like I said, and then you get a ton of points early. So we noticed he had like 20 or 30 points. He had 25 points on turn 1. I was like, what the fuck? I'm already down 20 points. Like, how is this possible? It's because some missions score really quickly, and then they have to kind of like keep that score up by doing actions. So if you kill enough of them, they can't do actions, so they're not going to get scores later on in the game. Like for me, I had to move out of my deployment zone. I had to do an action on the expansion objectives, or an objective, or a terrain feature. I get 2 points on a terrain feature, or 5 points on a objective. So I can move up, do an action twice, get 10 points turn 1, kill a unit on an objective, get another 3 points. That's 13 points primary on turn 1. And then on turn 2, if I hold one of the objectives, I get 4. And then I just do the same thing. That's another fucking 15-point primary again on turn 2. So turn 1, I'm getting 12. Turn 2, I'm getting 15. Turn 3, if I have enough alive, I'm getting another 15. So that's kind of nuts in just one of the categories. There's 4 other categories that people can be picking from that all have similar abilities. So I think this game is going to be way different when it comes to trying to stop primary, because I was thinking about this the other day. What my list in orcs was built around was just denying primary, was just like moving up, putting all my models on your terrain objectives, and just be like, you get 0. But now in 11th edition, if I'm going against a purge the foe fucking target, they just have to kill me to get primary. That defeats my entire game plan of 10th edition. So this 11th edition game plan is going to be way different than it was in 10th edition. So we have to get used to that. And guys, I learned all of this just from that video of one game of 11th edition. So hopefully I can put my head on your shoulders and coach you like this through 11th edition by joining the Patreon, like supporting the channel and getting that professional coach in your corner. It will be going up when we get more into 11th edition. Right now it's still really cheap and low for what Keevil says, the stuff I'm giving you guys. But I wanted to help the community. I wanted to help the Dirtbags. I want to actually build a Dirtbag nation across the world. I just had a guy from Taiwan message me. We're freaking like 14-hour difference, but we're like getting our schedules in line. I'm calling him at like 9 p.m., which is like 11 a.m. his time, or 8 a.m. his time. It's crazy. So all that is over at thepatreon.com. All these go there first, and you get your own Discord link to the Patreon Discord, where only Patreons can see that tab, and that's where I hang out 99% of the time. So if you want to support the channel, head over to patreon.com, join the membership on YouTube, and get the merch, because these shirts are sick. But you guys, I appreciate it. Good luck, and we'll see you in this next 11th edition, what to do going into 11th edition first. Appreciate it. Good luck, and we'll see you in another video soon. All right, guys, thanks for sticking towards the end of the video. If you guys want to support the channel, all the links in the description below, which we'll go over. But these right here, we have 3D prints of Cypher, Tech Priest, Phobo Libby, Combi Libby, Lieutenant, Calidus, Codias, and the Lord of Contagion. All those are up for sale. Message me on Discord. All these widgets, the 6-inch, 2-inch, 3-inch, 1-inch, they pop out. Those are up for sale. The 9-inch widget, the 1 CP token, where you guys can keep track of the CP every single game. The token markers for Chaos and Grey Knights, they're poker chips. Those are really good for sticky objectives. And then also the wound gauges and the fuck you and fuck me tokens are up for sale as well. And we have a new sponsor, Snot Goblin Terrain. They are really, really cool. What's great about them is you can customize them for any layout. So if you run a Games Workshop layout, or if you run WTC layout, you can run it that way. And the best part, it's super hard plastic, not going to break on you. And also it's all fully painted. So check on the link below if you guys want to check these guys out. We use them in our streams and they look super awesome on the stream, but it's really good to travel into all your stores and bring them with you. So check those guys out. Then we still have 3D6 Wargaming, where if you guys want some custom templates, you guys can click on these. And then our new and improved Rexar lasers, laser lights with the Dirtbag logo on them. These guys are at a lot of local GTs, especially in the Texas area, but these lines are, or these lasers are rechargeable. So definitely be picking this up. I'm going to be getting sent one of these so I can show you guys on the live stream and stuff like this. But you guys get the Dirtbags and the lasers rechargeable, so highly recommend the Rexar lasers in the description below. Look at this. Look at that line. It is so good. And it's rechargeable. At the top, it's got the USB. Just plug it right in. Good to go. This shit is legit. And lastly, guys, the merch store. This I love seeing at GTs. When you see it across the room, you see your own logo, which is so cool. It's the red, white, and blue. We have the hats as well. They're all flex fit with the Dirtbags logo on the back. I just love wearing backwards hats. But all of these are available in the Printify shop. It's print to order, so you can get all these shirts, different sizes, different colors. We also have the old school stuff. We have the Nurgling. We have mugs, which you can fit your entire hand in, and some of the Grey Knight logos as well. So let me know what I'm missing. You can message me on Discord, but stay tuned. If you guys are interested in the Patreon, that'll come up last. So appreciate it, guys, and let's keep it going.
What is up, gents? 40k Dirtbags here. If you guys are interested in joining the Dirtbag Nation over at patreon.com, you get a bunch of perks. What we did in 2024 was we really expanded. I had traveled a ton and I played my ass off in 40k. Right now we're ranked #1 best player in the United States on ITC rankings. We were the #1 Chaos Space Marine player in the world this year in 2024. 2 years ago, we got ranked #1 Grey Knight player in the world, and this year we're probably going to go into Death Guard, hopefully when the new Codex comes out, or Emperor's Children. But you guys, if you guys want that head coach or that coach always in your corner, just to ask questions, bounce ideas off, that's what the competitive Dirtbag and the Dirtbag Nation is all about. If you guys want to support the channel, you head over to patreon.com. You can join the Just a Car tab, which is $5 a month. You guys get access to the Discord Patreon tab. You have to be a patron to get into that Discord, and also I'm always there. All the other coaches are there. Basically, it's just such a good community over on Discord that you guys get specific access to it that only Patreons can get. If you guys want to bump that up, the competitive Dirtbag tier, you guys get to message me or another Grandmaster or another Dirtbag coach over the Dirtbag Nation to add unlimited questions, list ideas, list reviews, and bounce ideas off of. That's what's having a coach in your corner is all about. If you guys want to bump up to the Grandmaster tier, that tier you get every perk under the sun. So basically you get access to Discord, you get one-on-one coaching, you get a call once a month if you guys would like to go over any RTTs coming up, any GTs coming up, any list reviews live over Discord chat, and also a special perk that Grandmasters get. If you guys want any video suggestions like we do all the time with these table setups that we just upgraded thanks to the Patreons, you guys get suggestions or battle reports you want to see specifically played live by a coach or myself on the next battle report, or a live battle report coming up on the Patreon. So you guys get obviously first access to all the videos. We post them first on patreon.com, but there's just a ton of benefits to having a professional coach that plays this game all the time at the very, very high competitive level in your corner at all times. And that's really what the Dirtbag Nation is all about, getting you guys better at 40K, the basics, and being good in your community. So if you guys want to support the channel, I really appreciate it. Couldn't have done it without you guys in 2024, 2025. I am super stoked for, super excited for. We really want to get a bigger studio going. That is going to be my focus in 2025, is really growing the community on YouTube and Patreon specifically. So thank you so much for 2024, all my Patreons. If you guys are interested in joining and want that coach in your corner, head over to patreon.com and support the channel. Appreciate it.